Hey guys, it's June 1st, 2014. So I'd do a little update on what's been growing on here at the homestead. Going over here, these are all brand new. That's a raspberry, 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 raspberry. And here's a Pixie Crunch apple, which is, I think, similar to a Honeycrisp. And over here is the 4-in-1 apple. It's got Gala, Yellow Delicious, Jonah Gold, Granny Smith. I think those are the 4 varieties. Over here we've got a blackberry that's a Primacane variety. You can see here we got some little guys forming up. So first year, hopefully, that we'll ever have blackberries. Over there is a Granny Smith apple tree. And then that hole is where another blackberry will go. And over here we have a Gala apple. And then we've got a thornless variety of blackberry. I think it's Arapaho or Navajo or something like that. And working our way over here around the big elm tree. In a second, we got the onion bed. Lots of onions and then garlic. I'm not too sure how this garlic's going to turn out, but probably got another month or so before it's ready. Then over here, kind of underneath this tree row, got 3 more blackberries, one right there, and right there. Got some squash growing there. Actually, I think those are zucchinis, or a variety of zucchini called Cocozelle. Those are a scalloped pumpkin squash type plant. Over here, in this little bed, I got a yellow pear tomato, some more squash, and some kind of flower. I think it's called Fiery Heart or something like that. Pumpkin, then more squash over here, and then past the cactus. We got a whole row of Jerusalem artichokes that I've got growing along this fence line here, right over here by the kids' playhouse. And working our way over here, this is the new beds that I put together this year. I've got 3 of the 4 complete, and this bed's only about half full. You can see there's nothing really on this side. But over here is kind of some of the cold weather brassica family, Brussels sprouts, kohlrabi, kale, a couple varieties of kale, cauliflower, and more Brussels sprouts. Over here, got lots of tomatoes, probably 6 or 7 different varieties on 13 plants in this bed, with some flowers and basil and stuff kind of in between. Got this guy here. There's a few of them that are starting to put on some tomatoes on the vine. I think we got that guy there. So we're still at least 3 weeks to a month out before any ripe ones come along, but not too shabby. Then I've got a whole bunch of bush beans growing here, and then up this support structure there'll be cucumbers right along here along the rail, and then they'll grow up the trellis system here, but they're just now kind of sprouting out. This guy's a little big, but the rest of them are kind of small. And moving over to this bed, we've got more beans, green beans, but these are a pole type variety, so these will climb up that structure. And as I pan back, you'll see I'm missing the board on this side. I'll make it pretty much look exactly like that side, and then I'll add more wire going up the top there. But yeah, so besides the pole beans, we've got On that side, we've got some eggplant, a pumpkin that grew up out of my compost that I may or may not leave. Another eggplant. Then this tall guy here is a ruby Swiss chard. Got pepper plant, pepper, calendula flower, and then just a whole bunch of peppers now. Everything from small hot peppers to big sweet peppers and the like. Then over here where I don't have the straw down yet is the okra. They're kind of a warm weather crop, so they're just now popping out and doing their thing. So then that'll fill up the rest of that bed. And over here is what I've got my herb spiral. Just pretty much tons of different herbs. I got cilantro, dill, just a random pak choi that I put there, some mint, chives, basil, parsley, rosemary, lavender, and then some other random flowers. And then just a big old pepper plant that I've had for a couple years now, but he's pretty big and already putting on some peppers. They're still pretty small, but we'll have peppers here before too long. Another new addition back here is a strawberry bed. We put that in just this year, and then
Can I see that?
threw a blueberry up in this barrel.
Video?
I'm making a video, an update on what we're growing in our garden. And here we are back in the south garden, which I've had a number of these beds for a couple years now. Here's some tomatoes growing up my T-frame structure. They're about waist high. The ones in that other bed seem to be a little bit farther along. Plus I put the tomatoes that I grew all these from seed, but the ones that were growing better, those are the ones I put out in that other bed. These are the ones that they weren't struggling necessarily, but were a little farther behind. Then over there is all my asparagus, which we're done harvesting for the year. It's all going up to fern and seed and everything. Over here, I got beets, a red variety, and then a golden variety. We've got kohlrabi, more kale, some lettuce, onions are in there too. Well, there's lettuce too, but it's probably getting ready to come to seed here before too long. Actually, it looks like it's putting a head on. Over here, this is Lila's bed. We've got some pak choi on the left side, and down here some beets we planted later to have as like our second harvest or so. Here, more pak choi and Brussels sprouts, spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, leeks. I didn't do anything this year with that bed, and this little blueberry actually overwintered in this pot, and the chickens are getting chased by Lila, is my guess. Got some okra growing on in this little pot too. And then finally, we've got the third garden I have, which is the rain gutter garden, where the buckets have are in contact with the water that always stays full in the rain gutter. But we've got a cherry tomato that needs some help getting supported. Over here on the left, got some bush beans in here. Got some endive, carrots that I let, a few of them I let over winter. They're a biennial plant, so they don't produce seed till the second year. So I got, hopefully get some seeds off those. It's more of just an experiment. And then got a little pepper down there, an eggplant, more leeks, a big cherry tomato plant. This is a super sweet 100 hybrid, and it's just growing like crazy. And then the Brussels sprouts. Had a grape that I was going to try to grow along the fence in that pot, but it didn't survive the winter, so I have to figure out something else to do there. So that's pretty much the update. 1st, 2014. Still got some work to do, but that's how it stands today.